Back at it again, and we have an interesting one. Let's dive in.
Black Lives Matter is funded by the White House, ma'am.
Wait, what?
Black Lives Matter is funded by the White House, ma'am. By Obama, George Soros.
What about the people who are marching for Black Lives?
All lives matter. Number one, all lives matter. Okay? God made us all. God made us all. All lives matter. So if you want to separate yourself and put yourself on a platform about black lives, but what about that yellow man? What about that orange person? What about that purple person? What about them?
The claim of the Black Lives Matter is that African Americans are sort of kind of targeted. They get more killed.
We want them to matter.
Hold on a second. Black, this is what happens in black neighborhoods. It's black on black. It's black on black what kills these young youths in their neighborhoods. The Democratic Party has owned the black neighborhoods for over 60, 70 years. Look at them. And they give you a black president who's a Muslim. He supports radical Islam. From the White House, they the ones who created ISIS. Look at their policies. Look at their policies.
He's got a point, especially with the important city Chicago that a lot of politicians never want to mention because obviously it would destroy their agenda. There's been no improvement in Chicago. Zero, zip, zilch, nada. I mean, it's literally a war zone there. I mean, it's crazy. I was watching a video the other day of somebody at night just recording a video. And I mean, all you heard was gunshots just ringing out. You know, just all over the place. It was crazy. Absolutely nuts. There was another video that I saw. I can't remember if I did a reaction to it with y'all or if I watched it on my own. But there was another video of a guy who was, I guess, in a hotel building or something. But he recorded somebody hopping out of a car, broad daylight, just stopped the car, hopped out, let off some rounds down the street. You couldn't exactly see who he was firing at, but just let off rounds down the street, hopped back in the car and sped off. Like, what in the world? I feel bad for anybody, in Chicago right now. That's a very, very dangerous place, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be getting any better anytime soon. It's crazy.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Why is it that every black person I know, every black parent I know, who I live in a neighborhood with, has to give their children a special instruction for what they should do and not do when they go out, so that they don't get stopped by the police?
Right, that's what they should teach them. That's what they're teaching them. But they're not teaching them that. But they're not teaching them that. Let me explain something. The families, you know why?
Yes, they are.
Because a lot of
Everyone
but
I know
listen,
does that.
let me tell you,
And you know why?
rap music is designed to bring the black neighborhood down.
But you're not answering
Let
my
me explain
question.
something. If you're walking,
Where are these kids' fathers? When you get pulled over by a cop, you do what they ask you to do. You don't do all this extra stuff that you see, some folks doing. Ah, man, F you and F this and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? For the most part, I think we should follow what Larry Elder said. Do what he tells you to do. You'll deal with it, in court later. It's that simple. And according to statistics, cops are less likely to harm a black person than they are any other group of individuals. That's statistically proven. That is a fact that cannot be refuted.
walking down the street with your pants hanging down, and then you're listening to rap, and this rap is giving people the images, sell drugs, be a drug dealer, calling people bitches and hoes. The rap industry contributes to how blacks treat each other.
But what about, let me finish. What about the black men who are dressed nice?
I personally disagree with him on the music causing it. Personally, I understand where he's coming from, because anybody with a weak mind, anybody who doesn't have any guidance in their life, obviously can fall victim to, the guidance of any type of authority figure. So I understand where he's coming from, but I think it's a lame excuse. You know, I put that in the category of like the video games, when there was a whole hoopla around video games. Oh my God, Grand Theft Auto caused these kids to go and shoot at these folks. And I'm like, yo, I've played Grand Theft Auto my entire life. I've always known what I did on that video game, I couldn't go out and do in real life. Like that's just common sense. Video games have a restart button. Real life doesn't. I can go do all types of crazy stuff on this video game. You know, I could pull up and carjack somebody and shoot them right there on the street in the video game. You do that in real life, you're going to have some real life repercussions for that. On the video game, I could just restart. Two totally different things. But I think that comes back to the two-parent home and having that family structure, having that guidance. Me personally. But y'all let me know how y'all feel about it in the comment section.
Yes.
Driving in nice cars,
yes,
and are treated like criminals as if they stole the cars.
Listen.
That has nothing to do
that
with rap music.
Right. But,
that has to do with that has
right.
to do with their lives not mattering as much as other people's lives.
Do you don't think white people get pulled over?
Not as much.
Right, maybe. Yeah, you're right. You might have a point there.
I do have a point.
Most crime is black on black. It's not cops killing.
We're not talking about
it's not cops killing black.
We're not talking about black on black crime.
Right.
We're talking about.
Hold on, wait. Why aren't we talking about black on black crime, huh? Why aren't we talking about that? It's like when that college chick was talking about the Uyghurs in China, when she was talking about how China's so great. Well, we're not going to talk about the Uyghur situation, huh? Why not?
It's not cops killing black.
We're not talking about black on black crime.
Right.
We're talking
You can't talk about Black Lives Matter till you talk about that.
Right.
My man.
You got it.
We're talking about black people not being as safe when they go out, when they're treated by the police, and more.
It's time for the black neighborhoods to start taking care of their own neighborhoods.
Who was just playing and was killed.
One of the problems with the black community is how we're perceived. So look, when we're talking about rap, when you compare it to the statistics, how 40% of violent crimes are committed by young black men. Hold on. It's a perception. It is a perception. When we talk about, you go on the internet and we talk about selling drugs, pimping women, armed trafficking, fraud, and all these things, and people who don't live in black neighborhoods, people who don't live in black neighborhoods, gentry neighborhoods, all they see is what they know online.
White House is
and it is a perception. And when we hear police officers, 40% of the police officers who were killed in the line of duty were killed by young black men. It is only reasonable sometimes, not saying this is bad. Sometimes it is reasonable for a police officer to handle black men with a little bit more caution than it is for a 5'2" Chinese man, for instance. Because statistically they're not committing violent crimes. Statistically, they're not killing cops. Now, for instance, okay, so if a police officer pull over an Arab in Manhattan, right? Let me just put one more.
That's reasonable. But let's.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
Most of the mass shootings in this country, when was the last one that was done by a black person?
Probably yesterday in Chicago. But you don't hear about that, though. You don't hear about that. Somebody ran up in a party and started letting off shots. 5 people got hit. I don't know. I'm just throwing out a random number. I'm sure if you went to the Chicago local news, you'd find an article from last weekend where that happened. But that's not all over the mainstream media. It's only when a white person does it. AR-15, he let off some rounds. Yeah, but a guy with a 9mm just like popped like 5 people at a party in Chicago.
I'm talking about mass shootings of innocent people. I'm talking about the police. I'm not saying that was a good thing. So if we have all these mass shootings of people with guns killing children and killing innocent people, why aren't we more suspicious of white folks carrying around guns?
Well, they are. I mean, white people. White people. The thing is, when we're talking about black crime and white crime, we're talking about proportionality, right? No. So here's the thing, right? So I think it was about 5,000 or 3,000. 5,000. Are you talking about police killings or just white on white violence?
I'm not talking about race. I'm talking about people responsible for mass shootings in this country. Which have all been.
Let me ask you a question. How many mass shootings occur as opposed to just killings on the streets of our cities? mean, what would you say the ratio of, say, a mass shooting to shooting in a neighborhood?
Okay, well, I can't argue with you
You want to bang the gun?
You're saying
Of course, she can't argue statistics because she doesn't know them. The news doesn't drop statistics; they drop headlines. Duh.
what's it? You're saying you're wanting to focus on these mass shootings and they're not being committed by black people, but you want to ignore everything, all of that,
I just want,
as if it's more important.
I just want a black person walking down the street to be treated the same way as a white person walking down the street.
You've been African American because you seem to know a lot more than these gentlemen about being black.
I live in a community with black and African
So
American
you have
friends.
black friends? I do too.
But are you going to say that black people can walk down the street and say that?
Absolutely.
In my neighborhood,
Depending on neighborhood,
It
depending on
where
what
you
neighborhood.
live.
And the
It
illegals
depends
coming
on where
across
you
the
live.
street from.
It depends on where you live.
It just depends.
Right.
So you're going to tell me that women don't hold their purses closer, or you don't lock your door when you're going through a black neighborhood? Do you do that when you're driving through a white
Have you
neighborhood?
seen how I've been carrying my purse out here with a
How dumb of a
1,000 people I don't know? I'm not as any more concerned around all these people I don't know of all these nationalities than I am anywhere else.
But the thing is,
Lady, I've been
It's-
walking around and people have been telling me I don't know what I've been talking about all day.
But the point is this: most crime is black on black. It's black
I'm
on
not
black.
talking about black on black.
All right,
it is a huge.
Of course you are.
It's not the cops.
If we could reduce the main point is if we could reduce the amount of black on black crime and violent crime committed by blacks, it will reduce the perception of a threat when it comes down to how people are perceived. Black people are perceived in America.
Really think
And-
that Mr. Trump cares about you?
He's hired more black people than probably you have. He's hired more Latinos, more Muslims than anybody else.
Really think that Mr. Trump cares about you?
He's hired more black people than probably you have. He's hired more Latinos, more Muslims than anybody else has.
But he insults them all the time.
Insults black people or Muslims, women.
Women. He's just he insults anybody who doesn't agree with him.
Obama's killed more Muslims than Donald Trump has. Just
We can't have a rational conversation. You know what?
Obama has killed more Muslims than Donald Trump has. Extrajudicially. Extrajudicially, he has killed more Muslims.
You guys argue that he should be more aggressive. I don't understand. He killed more
I didn't argue that.
He killed Osama bin Laden.
Well,
He got no credit for that. That was a good
he
thing.
he did. He got the Nobel Peace Prize. That was his credit. And then he ended up going to destroy Syria. And now
He destroyed Syria?
oh yeah, yes, him.
Well, how did
yeah.
he destroy Syria?
The limited airstrikes that Vladimir Putin told him not to do. China said, hey,
So you like
and
Putin?
I don't. Well, there are things that I do like about Putin. He doesn't like to go and invade countries and destabilize them. Like one of the things I like about Putin is the fact that he understands that the Western presidents historically, at least from Clinton all the way to Bush, we have been toppling a lot of dictators that are democratically elected. The mullahs, the Muslim Brotherhood that was put into power after the military coup. That was another one that Vladimir Putin warned against, and we did it anyways. And then now this whole invade and invite Syria.
Because I don't want to listen to this anymore. But I'm
Okay,
just
well,
going
I
to
mean-
say, let me just tell you.
Hey, back to my slogan. She said, I gotta go because I don't want to do this anymore. Y'all know my new line? When the facts come out, they run. They run. Every single time when the statistics and the numbers and facts come out that they cannot refute, they run.
I will be really glad when you guys are all done and you leave and Ohio can go ahead and vote against Trump because he's going to lose here. And nobody wins the presidency without winning Ohio.
That's fine.
He will lose here.
Take it easy. Say hi, hug a black guy for me. Hug a black guy for me.
You want a hug?
Sure, of course.
I'll give
yeah.
you a hug.
There you go.
Why don't
You take hugs?
I What was the point of that comment?
I just said hug a black guy
But
for me.
why? What were you trying to
Because
communicate?
it seems like you have this warped perception on how black people are treated.
I know what I hear from people I know who are black.
And I'll tell you
I live in a
one
neighborhood
of the
that's
most.
70% black, and this is what I hear from
And
my
I
friends.
did too.
What do your friends say?
Okay, so I lived in East Side San Jose, which is predominantly black and Mexican. And one of the worst things that happened in East Side San Jose were the police officers, if you know Mayor Licata, the police officers stopped patrolling the neighborhood in which I lived in.
Yeah, but you didn't answer my question. I asked you specifically what you were implying when you asked me to go hug a black friend. You never answered that.
Because
were you implying I don't understand?
It seems like your compassion could be translated in a different way other than speaking about black problems, which you probably have no idea.
Well, I know what I'm told by people I know. So you may represent, I don't represent all white people, all Jewish people. You don't represent all black people.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you what I hear from the black community in my neighborhood, and it's very different than yours. I don't pretend to speak for the black community, but I don't agree with what you're saying, and it's not what I'm hearing from people I know. So you can have your opinion, but your comment to me to go hug a black person seemed kind of snide and belittling. So that was not nice.
Apology on my behalf. You enjoy your day.
Good job, man. Good job.
Yeah, sure.
So, a lot to unpack there, but there was a few things that were just like, what? First off, a white woman telling a black guy basically that he doesn't know the black experience and that he doesn't represent black people. But she does. I mean, it's just, oh man, you're not a free black man. You are oppressed. Oh man, you are oppressed by white people. Even though I am white, I am telling you that you need to feel and think that you are a victim. You are oppressed. You can't walk down these streets. How dare you even think that? I'm a white person. Only I can do that. Oh man, it's just another thing is there was a statement, I think, when they were talking about Trump, and she said he insults anybody that disagrees with him. A group of people insulting anybody that disagrees with them. Sounds familiar, huh? How ironic. Oh man. So I guess in her eyes it's an eye for an eye. I guess Trump did it, so they could do it too. Absolutely ridiculous. But also the last thing was when I believe it was the other black guy that wasn't at the very end of the video, he said, as black people, we need to start taking care of our own neighborhoods. And that is a very, very true statement. This whole victims mentality at a certain point, especially like places like Chicago. And I keep going back to that because it's just like the perfect example that nobody in the mainstream media really talks about. I mean, it's crazy in Chicago. Absolutely crazy. But clearly nobody's coming to fix it. Only person that is going to fix it are the people that are in it, the black folks. So that was definitely true when the gentleman had said that, for sure. But all in all, man, I mean, just absolutely ridiculous. A white person telling a black person how they aren't black or represent black people and they need to feel oppressed. Just absolutely wild. But the last thing is, she proved my saying. When the facts come out, they run. Because you just saw it there in the video. Once he started stating things that she couldn't refute, the facts of the matter, she ran. She got out of there. All of a sudden now, oh, nope, I gotta go. I don't want to talk about this. And it's also funny how whenever there is a debate, people try to exclude certain things and acknowledge that they're excluding it. With the, like I said, with the Uyghur situation, there was I forgot which video that was, but it was like a college chick that was saying China was like great and everything, and their government was awesome, but we're not going to talk about that. And then in this video, oh, we could talk about all of this other crime, but when it comes to black on black, we're not going to touch on that. That's not what we're here to talk about. Of course not. Because it doesn't fit your argument. But hey, I get it. Win your argument, I guess. I guess that's the point of a debate. But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all thought about this crazy one in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, and of course, hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.